Halstead LLC, Hidden Oaks in Pike Road, and the Pike Road Patriot Fund. Get in touch with the show by calling 334-517-1210 or texting the Patriot Talk text box at 334-313-1170. Now, here with Coach Shook is Doug Amos.
Yep.
And good Thursday evening to everybody, and welcome in. It is our third edition of Patriot Talk, coming to you from where we've been all three times. It's the most fun place to be in Pike Road, I can tell you that.
That's right.
The market at John Hall Store. Doug Amos along with the head coach of the Patriots, Mr. Granger Shook. Granger, how are you, brother?
I'm doing all right, Doug. I appreciate you being here again tonight.
1 week better.
1 week, yes, that is true. I know the scoreboard may not have been what we like, but our boys and our coaches can attest that we are much better than we were this time last week.
You know, I want to say this, and I feel confident that you would subscribe to this. I remember Jimmy Perry, a mutual friend of ours,
right,
prior to last football season, saying, to heck with the record. I'm worried about the record for way too many years. I want to get this team as good as it can possibly be,
right,
and I want to play the toughest people that we can possibly play,
right,
to get us prepared for region play and for the games that really count. And they lost a couple last year and won a state title. I believe you have iron sharpening iron. You played one of the best teams in Georgia. You played one of the best teams in Alabama.
Sure.
I have to believe your team is better coming out the other side of that.
There's no question. Our boys have been tested. They, we aren't as experienced as we have been in the past, going into week 0 or week 1, but now we are. Several of the teams that we have played, Marist is a top 5 team in the state of Georgia. Hillcrest is a top 5 team in this state of Alabama. And so our boys have responded extremely well to the competition. And I'm just extremely proud of their practice this week. I'm extremely proud of the physicality they've shown up with this week. And our boys are extremely hungry for Wetumpka coming up tomorrow night.
Looking forward to it. Of course, Wetumpka's having us out to be on the Pig Enterprises scoreboard show. Excited about that. I know Bear Woods is a guy that I think you've met.
Yes,
you know Bear.
Bear and I have spoken extensively this week and leading up to this game. He is a great dude. He's a heck of a coach, and his boys will be ready to play.
You know, I know the first 2 games, getting ready for those, kind of in a bit of an unknown state with that. But now you're in the region play. You're going to be playing a lot of teams from around in this area. I got a feeling you and your staff and your team are excited about that.
We are. We're extremely excited about it. I know Caleb and Trey are here tonight. Caleb and Trey are both seniors. Trey had a big interception last week. Caleb is a extremely big playmaker for us on offense and in special teams as well. I know those guys are hungry to start region play. We are we can't wait to get on the road tomorrow to go face those Indians. So
what a beautiful facility they have in Wetumpka too. I know you guys are excited about being there.
They do. The city of Wetumpka has really invested a lot into that athletic program and into the school system. You know, the school of Wetumpka is an older building, but the city of Wetumpka has invested not only into the football stadium, but they've invested into baseball fields and complexes, softball complexes.
The track, which goes around the football field. Yeah.
It's kind of like they know what, it brings a lot of money into the city.
And it looks somewhat similar to where we hope to be for you.
Exactly.
In phase 1 and 2
Absolutely.
of the new Pike Road School.
Yes, absolutely. So, I know there's a lot of big, of high hopes coming up here in the next couple of years as far as what will be in the Pike Road community. I know the community is excited about what's to come.
No doubt about it. All right, so we need to talk a bit about what transpired last Friday.
Right.
We thought Hillcrest Tuscaloosa was going to be one of the better teams you played all year, and it proved out that way.
Yes, and I thought our boys came out ready to play. Jordan Holmes had a big interception to start the first drive, and we gave the offense good field position. You know, we had a few self-inflicted penalties, which is a young team does. You know, our offense played well at times, but, you know, in crucial times, we kind of shot ourselves in the foot. You know, defensively, I thought we kept them out of the end zone. I thought we had the mentality. You know, our boys played hard and we bent but did not break, you know, early in the game. We had a chance to score early in the game. I thought we dropped a touchdown early in the first half, and then we dropped another one in the third quarter. You know, it's just one of those things, though. Hillcrest played a heck of a game. They were very well coached. They have D1 players at every level. You know, a stat, we have 2, maybe 3 seniors on offense. They have 9. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I'm very, very optimistic about the teams to come. Very proud of Caleb and his leadership on that offensive side of the ball. He was very, very optimistic. He was keeping the team up on the sideline. Very proud of him and how he led on Friday night.
Well, I wanted to ask you, what was the atmosphere like? You know, it was the first for you, your first
Yes.
home game. What was it like over there at Pike Road?
It was raining early, you know, so the fans got there a little later. But once they got there, it was loud. It was one of those environments where we were trying to check on the field, and our players couldn't hear us, which is, you know, a pro and a con.
Sure.
But, you know, the light show got me a couple times. But it's just one of those things where, you know, I'll have to learn to live with it.
Yeah.
You know, the kids love it. The fans love it. You know, while you're trying to coach in the dark, it's one of those things where it is what it is.
You got to have to adjust to that, huh,
Yes.
moving forward.
Absolutely.
I know that it was a big night for you. I know how positive of a guy you are. And
Right.
in fact, I don't know that I've met many coaches at the high school level that find a positive in anything that they're dealing with. Talk about some of the things that came out of the game that you've had happen this week in the practice getting ready for tomorrow night.
Well, first off, you know, one thing we've been stressing is physicality. I think, you know, Trey and Caleb will come up and talk about that. At a certain extent, we've done a lot more good on good, you know, instead of a scout team, so to speak, where our younger guys give us a look. We've done a lot more good on good the past 2 weeks, and I think our team has grown because of that. And so I think the silver lining coming from this is that, you know, everybody moving forward is 0-0 in the region. We have been battle tested. We have gotten better each and every week. We know where our issues are. We've attacked those issues as a staff, and there's no doubt in my mind that we'll be better this week because of that.
Let me ask you this in relation to what you just said. There's no doubt that you could have scheduled a couple of games. Of course, the schedule was handed to you.
It
but
was.
Let's just say you were in year 4,
Right,
where
right.
you were in charge of making the schedule. You could have scheduled some games that you would have felt pretty confident your team was going to win.
Right.
Quite frankly.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, had you been able to do that in a hypothetical world, do you think your team would be as good as it is today heading into the Wetumpka game tomorrow?
Absolutely not. There's no doubt in my mind that, you know, the Lord's got a great plan. There is nothing that happens by accident. I tell the staff all the time, I tell the players all the time, we're all here at this moment for a reason. That is to impact each other in a positive way. And so there's no doubt in my mind that we played those first 2 games to make us better, to make these young men better. And I think that's just what we've done over the past several weeks.
Coach, looking at the stats, Mike Jones had 47 yards rushing on 9
Right.
carries.
Right.
Looks like he ran the ball pretty well.
He did. We are trying to find ways to get him the ball more. He's a dynamic player. Again, there are certain things that we, you know, haven't done because we weren't in region play, but I expect Jamichael to get the ball a lot more than 9 times.
Talking about Jordan King, 7 catches,
Yes.
74 yards, pretty sporty there.
Jordan is a dynamic player. You know, there's a couple of times where we got to find Jordan in certain down distances to get him the ball to help extend drives. But, I'm proud of Jordan and how he's responded. Jordan is a junior, didn't play much last year. So, again, he is an older player per se, but we're asking him to do things he hasn't done before.
So in looking at some of the defensive stats, looks like my man Houston Markham had a really nice game.
Yes.
7 individual tackles, 8 total tackles.
Yes, Cody's not only is a great man, he's a great player. Cody's always going to be at the top of the stat line. We ask him to do a lot of things, not only on defense, but in special teams as well. So, Cody's going to be a great leader for us, as well as Caleb and Trey, who are here with us tonight. And so, again, I expect for Cody to be on that stat line every night.
Some more karma from being on the program here. Malik Blockton had a nice game, too. 9 total tackles.
Yes.
And a sack.
Yes. Malik is definitely, he is as advertised. He is a great young man. I talked to Ben Blackman today, who's on the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star staff. Called me about Malik, and I said, you guys better get him. He's one of the best I've ever coached. And so I think Malik is going to continue to turn heads as the season goes on.
Talk about your secondary some. You did get 2 interceptions
We did.
in the game. Talk about where that position group is, in your opinion, heading into region play.
Well, I think that group right there has a lot of potential. There is some great senior leadership with Cody and Trey. And then there's some really good talent with Cody, Trey, and Jordan, and several others who are, fighting for those positions. It's a battle every week. I thought they made great strides this summer as far as trying to solidify, positions as far as safety and corner. But Jordan Holmes is as good of a player as there's going to be. He's only a sophomore, but he does a lot of good things. Trey Caver, who's here tonight, he's able to play safety and corner for us. He's a good senior leader. Had a big interception in the game for us on Friday night. And Cody, you've already mentioned. So again, I think that group. I'm really excited to see us progress as the season goes. Not only in his athletic ability, but in his leadership.
I want to ask you this before we take our first break. And you obviously came to as good a conclusion as you could as to where your team was heading into the game over in Georgia.
Right.
But it's always a learning curve about your team specifically is what I'm talking about.
Right.
So I'm just curious, as we head into week 3, any surprises that, hey, this kid is a little bit better than maybe I thought in fall camp? Think good positive things that you think could be happening down the road with this team.
Absolutely. I think there's going to be some guys who are going to play both ways tomorrow night that haven't played both ways. I think, we've already referenced some of them. I think Malik's one of them who's going to play offense potentially. I think Jordan King's going to play some defense potentially. I think there's several times in the game tomorrow night to where we're going to have guys who are tired. We're going to say, suck it up. You're going on the field in a different capacity. And those are the things that we've been working this week. We're in, 6A, and a lot of teams don't have to do that. But, this year, we think to put us in the best situation, Pike Road is going to have to play some guys both ways.
Is that more of a youth thing that you need more time to develop some of the younger guys?
Yes, I think it's a little bit of both. I think Pike Road has grown so fast in a short amount of time that we may be 6A in some areas, but, we're still a smaller school in some areas. But, yes, I think the fact that we have graduated a lot of players here recently, that there is some youth mixed in with some, experience, and so there's going to be some guys having to play both ways.
We are at the market at John Hall Store out in Pike Road. Come see us. Really good crowd. I'm seeing my buddy Austin Worley over there, I believe. Dr. Perry Hooper here as well, both from Southern Orthopedic Surgeons. They're the absolute best in their industry. There is no doubt about that. But lots of folks out here for the Patriot Talk program, and we want you to be a part of it. You can call us if you have a question or a comment. for Coach Shook. The call-in number is 334-517-1210. You can text the Patriot Talk text box at 334-313-1170 if you have a comment or a question for the coach. When we return after this timeout, we're going to welcome in Trey Caver, senior defensive back. He's had a great start to his senior year from a leadership and a production standpoint. He will join Patriot Talk right after this on ESPN The Ticket.
Come discover a more familiar way of life in Pike Road's newest development, Hidden Oaks. Build your dream home in nature without all the traffic. Located just minutes from the Pike Road Town Center, Publix, restaurants, and additional shopping, you won't have to go far for anything you might need. Hidden Oaks features incredible access to I-85 and Vaughn Road while still retaining its profound beauty and privacy.
The one that affects
Lake Martin and downtown Montgomery are just a short drive away. With site pros getting the lots ready to build on, claim your spot now. To find out more about Hidden Oaks, go to hiddenOaksAL.com.
Check one,
Sexton
two,
Tire
check.
Pros is home of the hassle-free guarantee. They make taking care of your tires simple, offering a straightforward approach to tire and auto service that includes nationwide warranties, a hassle-free experience, and major brands like Michelin and BF Goodrich. For whatever you drive, Michelin is a tire to fit any need. Sexton Tire Pros, hassle-free, guaranteed. Find out more online at
Check one.
SextonTirePros.com.
Check one, two, check. 1, 2, check. Trey, Doug Amos, how are you, buddy? Good to see you. Say hello to me. Bend it right in there close.
Hello.
There you go. You're good.
Where everything we do rotates around you. Sexton.
Fueled by the vision of 3 generations of leaders with backgrounds in engineering, construction, and finance, Halstead has left an indelible mark of quality on the retail and multifamily landscape throughout the Southeast for more than 70 years. Halstead has built a diversified real estate portfolio across 14 states, featuring some of the best-known name brands in America. Call Halstead Contractors at 334-288-2330. Halstead is a proud supporter of Pike Road Patriot football.
The Pike Road Patriot Fund's goal is to raise money to support arts and athletic programs at over $100,000 has been raised over the years, and the monies have contributed to almost every sport and student organization. Thanks to the people attending and sponsoring the annual Crawfish Boil, which makes it easier to provide much-needed support to teachers and coaches. Visit www.prpatriotfund.com for more information.
It's year 7 of the Pig Enterprises Scoreboard Show. This is Doug Amos inviting you to join me and special guests each Friday night from 9 to 11 right here on WTXK, ESPN The Ticket in the River Region. You can listen online as well on roundtablebroadcast.com. We'll have a great time on remote at different high school games and in the studio. It's going to be a great, great year. Follow all your high school football scores right here on ESPN The Ticket.
Nuke's Eatery offers catering, from box lunches to full platters and whole cakes. We'll make sure everything exceeds your expectation. Our catering specialists can build custom platters like the bruschetta platter. Everything will look great and everyone will be satisfied. Nuke's Eatery. We cater, you party. In Dothan, 334-699-1667. Or in Montgomery, 334-414-1759.
You're listening to Patriot Talk with Pike Road head football coach Granger Shook. To be part of the show, call 334-517-1210 or text the Patriot Talk text box at 334-313-1170. Now back to Coach Shook and Doug Amos.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We are at the market at John Hall store, and boy, we got to thank Grib and the Anderson family for hosting us these first 3 weeks. Hopefully, continuing to move forward.
Absolutely.
I had a different menu item tonight. You know, I get here about 4 o'clock and set up all this stuff and grab a bite.
Yeah.
So when I'm doing your show, I don't have lunch for the most part.
Gotcha.
So I got the cheeseburger, the bacon cheeseburger tonight.
I had that when
it's killer.
Yes, it is.
I mean, it is awesome.
Their burgers are great.
Yeah,
I
they
had
really
that
are.
when Grib and I met initially to set this up.
It's pretty sweet,
Yes.
let me tell you. Tell me about Trey Caver and what he means to your football team, both on the field and off.
Trey's a phenomenal young man. He was voted on our leadership council Again, when I first got the job, he was one of the 7 that were voted. He's a starter on our defense for obvious reasons. He is a great young man, very smart. He's a good leader for us, and so I'm just excited to see what he can do for us leading into Wetumpka.
Trey, how are you, my friend? Welcome to Patriot Talk. It's good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
How do you guys have all these guys with these incredible smiles, man? This is like the 5th player I've seen that looks like he ought to be on TV.
Hey, Trey.
So for a guy that looks like me,
him.
that's offensive for a guy that looks kind of like me. Yeah. Trey, welcome in, buddy. I want to talk to you first about things that need to happen off the field for this team. You've played 2 of the best teams that you're going to play.
Yes,
one of the best teams in Georgia, one of the best teams in Alabama now. Yes, what have you done as a senior to make sure that the mentality and everything is staying positive and everybody's putting in the work to get better each week?
As each week go, we progress and we get more physical each week, defense and offense wise, more best on best,
And that's one of the things that the staff's kind of pushing, right? The physicality of it. And Coach talked to that because he just said something I think is real interesting. Yeah. Best on best.
It is.
That means you're spending time knocking heads with the best players knocking the best players.
Absolutely. Football is a physical game. I tell them all the time it's a violent game, and Trey and his teammates are buying into that. And, it's something that, it is not for the meek. It's not for the mild. It is a violent game played by men. And most of the time, the most physical team wins. And so that is that's what we as a staff are trying to create Pike Road football.
Trey, we're going to play like he can't hear us right now, but do you have any idea what a headhunter this guy was when he played? Has he shared any of that with y'all?
I heard some. I worked in Huntington.
Yeah, led them in tackles for like a decade or more. So this guy knows of what he speaks. Hey, I need to ask you the question. I ask every Pike Road Patriot that gets to where your seat right there, just tell me one thing that you learned today. Just need one.
I learned about freedom of speech in history class today and how students don't really have freedom of speech.
It's interesting, and that's certainly a topical deal that's been talked about a lot, about things you can say, things you can't say, or people tying your hands behind your back. Just freedom of speech doesn't mean there may not be consequences.
That's what I was about to say. Trey and I, we were talking off the air. Freedom of speech does not mean freedom of consequences. And so, yes.
It's important.
It is very important.
To know.
Yes, it is. And a lot of times social media, a lot of times these phones allow us to text or post or tweet or do whatever without us having fear of consequences when that is the furthest from the truth. And so us as a staff talk about making sure that we represent not only themselves and their family the right way, but make sure we represent Pike Road the right way.
And here's another thing, just from an old guy to a semi-medium, middle-aged guy to a young guy. Whatever we do on social media, Trey, whatever happens, never goes away. So if you do something when you're 16 or 18, somebody's liable to go try to hunt it down when you're 32 looking for a job.
Well, and that's the thing, and that's what I try to tell Trey, and Caleb's coming on the air, and the guys that we've had before. Trey's going to play college football, and Trey's going to get a very good education, and Trey's going to have the opportunities to be in a profession of whatever he chooses and be able to provide for his family. I just don't want things that we post at 15, 16, 17, 18 to keep us from reaching our goals or achieving a certain status that we have the ability to achieve.
And I know that's I'm sure it's resonated with you, Trey.
Yes, sir.
Talk about leadership on this team. And you obviously have been an underclassman in the past. You're now the senior. You're now part of the leadership team. Talk a little bit about that and that responsibility.
Leadership, I've been wanting to do it for a long time because I've seen older guys in front of me do it.
Sure, yeah.
So, when it comes to leadership, it takes a lot. You got to be good every day, not just one day.
And consistent. You know, we talk about consistency on the field, Coach.
Absolutely.
But I think consistency off the field is every bit of as important, if not more. And that's from a leadership standpoint, being the same for your teammates and for them to look up to you, for you to be the same and consistent as the head coach.
Well, you know, we talk about in Galatians 6:9, do not grow tired and weary of doing good. For at the right time, you will reach your harvest if you do not give up. And we talk about consistency. We talk about intentionality. We talk about those qualities that it takes to be a successful young man. And, you know, I think Trey and I think his teammates are buying into it, you know, and I think if we take that to heart and we keep getting better each and every week and we show up with a consistent mindset and we show up with great leadership that Trey can provide, that our team will continue to get better and we will reap the harvest that we want.
Trey Caver is our guest. He is the senior defensive back for the Patriots. Talk a little bit about the excitement inside the locker room about being to region play. Wetumpka, you guys probably know some of these guys that play at Wetumpka, so you got a little bit more skin in the game when it's people you know. Talk a little bit about that.
Yes, sir. It's a lot of energy right now. Well, you know, we just came into 6A, so they're one of our rivals now. And, yeah, I think the game is going to be very packed tomorrow.
I do, too. I think it's going to be a great crowd over there. I know the Wetumpka fans will show up, and I know the town of Pike Road will show up, too.
Absolutely. You know, I think Wetumpka has a great fan base. I don't think anybody in that area. I think Elmore County may be away. I think there's some other teams that may be away. So I expect for a great turnout at that stadium. Again, it's a new stadium. They have a lot of, you know, amenities that, you know, I think will draw people to them. And so I'm excited about the atmosphere that our boys will play in.
Did they play some of the games there last year?
They did.
They did.
Yes.
All of them?
Yes.
A full year? I didn't think it was all
a full
of them.
year.
Toward the end of the year is where they started playing.
Yep, absolutely.
So I would invite anybody and everybody in the River region. You want to see a great 6A matchup, and here's what we know. Two teams that are incredibly hungry.
Yes, absolutely.
There is no doubt about that. I know Bear Woods well. You know Bear Woods well. I know you extremely well. I think both teams on that field tomorrow night are going to be ready to go.
Well, it's going to come down to 2 or 3 plays. Anytime you play teams that are evenly matched, it comes down to 2 or 3 plays. And the team that's the most disciplined, the team that's the most focused, the team that's the most intentional with each snap is going to be the team that comes out on top.
I don't think there's any doubt about it. Okay, so go home, get some rest, Trey. You got to be ready tomorrow night. Make sure when I'm over there, make sure you wave at me. But best of luck. Go get them tomorrow night. Get that big region win.
Yes, sir.
Trey Caver, senior defensive back. We appreciate Trey being here tonight. All right, so, Coach, when you hear a kid like that talk about leadership and talk about energy and excitement, that's got to make you proud, because I think teams that maybe didn't have good leadership and a good foundation may be at a different spot mentally today heading into this game tomorrow.
Right. Well, you know, Trey and his teammates have done an exceptional job of taking it day by day and having that day-by-day mentality. You know, we can't help what happened previously. We can flush it, and we can move on to the next, and we can just use what happened previously as motivation. And I think that's what this group has done. And so we all know that everybody's heading into region play this week. And so we're excited to get that opportunity to start with a clean slate and make sure that we put our best foot forward.
I don't think there's any question about it. All right, so I'm assuming, even though it's not your home game, the tickets are still sold the same way?
Yes. The tickets are on GoFan. You know, Coach Bear Woods and I spoke several times this week. They're actually honoring first responders. They're honoring retired and current military.
Exactly.
So, you know, all the first responders, all our military veterans and current military get in free.
And that doesn't matter where you are, where you live. If you come to Wetumpka tomorrow night and show identification, you're getting in free.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
So it's going to be a great atmosphere. I'm excited for our boys to get to play in front of that atmosphere again this weekend. And so I think it's going to be a great matchup.
Knowing you'll explain to them that one of the reasons they're allowed to play high school football on Friday night is for those people that fought for us back in the day, right?
There is no doubt. And so, again, the main reason I'm here is because, I have family that was stationed at Maxwell.
Right.
And so all those military families are near and dear to me. I have, my father's a first responder. I have grandparents that were first responders. That is who we are. And so, yes, that is all near and dear to us.
We will continue our discussion here on Patriot Talk. Once again, 334-517-1210 is the number to get in touch with us via phone call. You can text the Patriot Talk text box at 334-313-1170. I do have a text here, Coach. It comes from Bill. Bill says, how do you keep the spirits up when the results on the scoreboard have not been what you hoped them to be?
Well, that's a great question, but Bill, we consistently talk about it's not what you do, it's how you do it, and our boys are buying into that. And so, we just consistently, as a staff, preach about win the day, and let's make sure that Pike Road football gets better today. It doesn't matter if that's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and I think our boys are buying into that. We've done a lot of good on good practices. We've been in full gear, tackling to the ground. We've been very physical, and, just trying to be creative with how we structure practice. And I think our boys are responding extremely well to it.
Brian Harris is here recording the program like he always does for, again, Patriot Live. Is that what it was?
Patriot.
Pike Road Live. Yeah, Pike Road Live. You can go to their Facebook page and watch this show, watch the game tomorrow night from Wetumpka. I saw the little highlight video. I don't know if you did that or somebody. It was really, you could tell you had some guys make some plays.
Those guys do. Yes,
yeah.
Yes. Our players are extremely blessed to have Brian and Dogwood Media.
I'm blessed to have Dogwood Media too.
Advocating for them on social media, and the platform, the platforms that they use. And I challenge Brian and I challenge our administration. I want social media to be saturated with Pike Road athletics, and they are doing a great job of that. I couldn't be more proud of Brian and the product he's putting out there for our kids.
And I want to tell you, Brian and Slayton Edwards, who is the person assigned to me, and he's probably about to quit because he has to deal with me. But want everybody to know that all of Patriot Talk shows are available on podcast, archived on podcast. If you just go to roundtablebroadcast.com, click on Podcast Network at the top of the page, you can scan down to Patriot Talk. Every single Patriot Talk is there to be watched. We now have a presenting sponsor for that. But also, wherever you get your podcasts, your show every week is now on Apple Podcasts. Right. It's on Google Podcasts, and really some podcast landing spots that I didn't even know existed. Right. That's why we leave it up to Dogwood to do. But wherever you listen to podcasts, go search for Patriot Talk. We do ask you to follow that podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, just click on the little follow thing at the top. And if you go just to roundtablebroadcast.com, you can see all the shows that we do on Roundtable Broadcasting. Yes. We'll take a break. When we get back, Caleb Foster, senior wide receiver and one stud of an athlete on your team, is going to join us. Stick around. More of Patriot Talk from the marketplace at John Hall Store coming your way right after this.
Fueled by the vision of 3 generations of leaders with backgrounds in engineering, construction, and finance, Halstead has left an indelible mark of quality on the retail and multifamily landscape throughout the Southeast for more than 70 years. Halstead has built a diversified real estate portfolio across 14 states, featuring some of the best-known name brands in America. Call Halstead Contractors at 334-288-2330. Halstead is a proud supporter of Pike Road Patriot football.
The Cuban. It's a sandwich with a rich culinary tradition. And at Nuke's, we don't mess with tradition. We just build upon it. Starting the Nuke's Cuban with prime pork tenderloin that's hand-rubbed with secret spices and brined to perfection. Then we layer on ham, Swiss,
In the
mustard,
mic,
and
it
pickles.
bends.
No shortcuts.
Put it right in front of your
nothing
mouth.
pre-made.
Okay, there you
Just
go.
the perfect Cuban. As traditions go, it's a tasty one. Get the Cuban for a limited time at Nuke's Eatery.
It's year 7 of the Pig Enterprises Scoreboard Show. This is Doug Amos inviting you to join me and special guests each Friday night from 9 to 11 right here on WTXK, ESPN The Ticket in the River Region. You can listen online as well on roundtablebroadcast.com. We'll have a great time on remote at different high school games and in the studio. It's going to be a great, great year. Follow all your high school football scores right here on ESPN The Ticket.
Come discover a more familiar way of life in Pike Road's newest development, Hidden Oaks. Build your dream home in nature without all the traffic. Located just minutes from the Pike Road Town Center, Publix, restaurants, and additional shopping, you won't have to go far for anything you might need. Hidden Oaks features incredible access to I-85 and Vaughn Road while still retaining its profound beauty and privacy. Auburn, Lake Martin, and downtown Montgomery are just a short drive away. With site pros getting the lots ready to build on, claim your spot now. To find out more about Hidden Oaks, go to hiddenoaksal.com.
The Pike Road Patriot Fund's goal is to raise money to support arts and athletic programs at Pike Road School. Over $100,000 has been raised over the years, and the monies have contributed to almost every sport and student organization. Thanks to the people attending and sponsoring the annual Crawfish Boil, which makes it easier to provide much-needed support to teachers and coaches. Visit www.prpatriotfund.com for more information.
Sexton Tire Pros is home of the hassle-free guarantee. They make taking care of your tires simpler by offering a straightforward approach to tire and auto service that includes nationwide warranties, a hassle-free experience, and major brands like Michelin and BF Goodrich. For whatever you drive, Michelin is a tire to fit any need. Sexton Tire Pros, hassle-free, guaranteed. Find out more online at sextontirepros.com.
I hit a bump in the road, I got a nail in my tire. The muffler is loose, the steering no power. At Sexton Tire Pros, we're one of the few where everything we do rotates around you.
You're listening to Patriot Talk with Pike Road head football coach Granger Shook. To be part of the show, call 334-517-1210 or text the Patriot Talk text box at 334-313-1170. Now back to Coach Shook and Doug Amos.
All right, welcome back to the market at John Hall Store. Great to have you along. Doug Amos, Granger Shook here as we get you ready for a big night tomorrow night in Wetumpka, honoring the military and first responders there at Wetumpka. And it doesn't matter where you live. If you are one or were one, you're going to gain free admittance into the football game.
Absolutely.
What a great thing that Wetumpka High School and Bear Woods are doing for that.
Absolutely. There's a lot of military pride in Central Alabama.
It really is.
Wetumpka and Pike Road and Montgomery and the surrounding areas, and we're just trying to honor all those people who sacrifice so much for our communities and hopefully reward them for a good football game on Friday night.
All right, so Caleb Foster is in the house. He's a senior wide receiver and does a lot more than that. Just a great athlete for Granger Shook, and he's going to join us here for a few minutes. Caleb, good evening, buddy. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
It's good to see you. Talk about where you feel the mindset is of this team heading into region play. Because guess what? You do well in region play, they could care less how you may have done in non-region games.
Well, I feel like, they say you get better from week 1 to week 2. I feel like we got way better from week 1 to week 2, even though we didn't get the results that we had. But I feel like as we go on and progress, we should we're good at moving the ball. It's just mental mistakes like fumbles, snaps over the head, sacks,
and those are usually crucial things that you can work out.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of self-inflicted issues last week that we've been working on for sure.
So as a leader, you and Trey, what's the mentality? What are you saying in the locker room to some of the younger guys, some of the underclassmen?
I like to love on the younger classmen, treat them like some little brothers, and have them hyped up, like. And the big guys. The big guys get the most love from me.
I bet they do.
Yeah.
All right, so I ask all of the Pike Road players that I see here on Patriot Talk one question. What's one thing that you learned today, Caleb?
I learned in anatomy. I learned about anatomy and physiology. Anatomy is like the structures of the body parts,
right.
And physiology is the functions.
I got you. It's pretty cool.
That is.
And that's obviously something you could take really deep and learn a lot more about the structure and a lot more about the functions and things.
Now,
my main function is eating. I don't mind saying that.
Now, back in the 90s when you were at JD, did y'all learn about that?
No, heck no. Man, I went through college and never really dug deep into that stuff. But, hey, back when I went to Jeff Davis, you know, it's 45 years ago.
I was messing
yeah,
with
and your dad is a year older than me. So
there you
go. Caleb, how excited are you about Wetumpka? It's a region game. Like I mentioned to your buddy Trey, you probably know some of these guys or at least seen them around and had some interaction with them.
Yes, sir.
Pretty excited about the opportunity.
Yes, sir. I feel like the game is going to be packed. Wetumpka has a great student section, fan base. The game is going to be loud.
I do too, and I've got a feeling you believe that the Pike Road folks are coming too, right?
Yes,
I love these kind of river region rivalry type
It's
things,
great,
and
man.
this is Pike Road's first year in 6A, right? Or second?
Second year, but
year.
first year we're going to Wetumpka.
Yeah.
These guys, you know, in Pee Wee play against Wetumpka. They play against Stanhope. They play against all these guys, and so, you know, just moving up the ranks, playing against them on Friday nights, it's going to be a good environment.
No doubt. I know that you guys have worked hard, I'm told, this week. You feel like everybody's ready?
Yes, sir, I do.
He says that with a big smile, so I'm hoping that he is exactly correct.
Right.
Tell me this real quick. You've got had some pretty good games catching the football. As we look at on the season so far, you got what? Make sure I don't mess this up. Number of catches for Caleb Foster, 9 catches. It's pretty good in 2 games. I know you're a threat to break one for a long play. I know that's what you're hoping to have tomorrow night.
Yes, sir, I am.
Can you talk about the development of your quarterback? He's just a freshman, and how he's played and how he's developed as the guy in the huddle that you guys are looking to?
Yes, sir. Casey's my guy. He's pretty good. I try to tell him, since I used to play the position, I try to tell him just one play at a time and have short-term memory. Don't think about the last play, because, like, you get frustrated and get all that and just, it ain't going to be good.
That's a wise way to look at it, short-term memory. Yeah. And I think for a quarterback, that's a must.
I want to brag on Caleb for a second. Caleb was the starting quarterback last year, and Caleb has adopted a new role on the team physically as wide receiver and punt returner, but he has not adopted a new role as far as leader, as far as just in the locker room, as far as what kids turn to and who our players turn to. I could not be more proud of Caleb Foster than of any other player I've ever coached. He is very selfless. He is the epitome of a team player. And I don't want our Pike Road fans and this community to lose sight of the young man that Caleb Foster is. He's going to be very successful because of it. And I can't speak enough of how proud I am of him.
You know, sometimes it's that mentality that produces the best leaders you got.
There's no doubt.
Because there's no question that you have people on your roster that have looked to him to see how he has treated and reacted to that situation.
Absolutely. Wetumpka has a very dynamic quarterback, and Caleb has worked the scout team this week. He is a senior quarterback, wide receiver, punt returner on the leadership committee, and he has worked scout team quarterback reps.
Because he gives you the best look.
Because he's that kind of kid.
Gives you the best chance to win the game.
I mean, there's too many good things. I can't say enough good things about Caleb Foster.
I'll say this then. You
Yeah.
tell me if I'm right or wrong. you win the game tomorrow and you play a really good game defensively, my guess is he's going to make some plays on offense for you. I don't think there's any doubt.
There's no doubt.
But you could look at the look he gave your defensive unit as one of the keys to the whole thing.
There's no doubt in my mind. There's no doubt in my mind that Caleb is going to be the reason why we win if we play as well as we do on Friday.
Does that excite you and the challenge that means you're preparing yourself, man, for life after high school? If you're handling situations like that in a mature, I want what's best for the team mentality, pats on the back for me, pal. I'm telling you, there aren't many young men your age who might embrace things that way.
Yes, sir. I try to get a defense a great look because Nate Rogers, pretty
he can play.
Guy.
There you go.
Yeah.
We'll see him tomorrow night. I know you're proud of him.
I am, extremely.
First night I've met him, and I'm proud of him. Caleb, thanks for being with us,
Thank
buddy.
you.
Great to see you.
Nice to meet you.
I don't know. Are you going to keep bringing fine young men like this every single week? That's you're 6 for 6, Coach.
We are. I can't take credit for it. I'm just extremely proud of the young men that represent this community, and my hat is off to them and the families that they represent. Caleb, you won't find a finer young man around.
I will say this, if you're not in the military and you still want to come see a great River Region rivalry that's going to grow and grow, gofan.co is where you can get tickets.
Absolutely.
Digitally, I believe they're, $10?
Yes.
Probably, I believe. Is that correct? $12? Brian's got the answer.
Brian's on it.
Listen, if you went to the game and you said it was 10 and they tell you 12, come find me.
Blame Doug.
I'll give you the $2, okay? We'll make it all work out for you. It is Wetumpka and Pike Road tomorrow night in Wetumpka. Should be one whale of a football game. Coach Shook and I are back to start heading for home right after this. You're listening to Patriot Talk. It's a Thursday night, the night before the region opener for the Patriots, and we're back right after this on ESPN The Ticket.
107.5 is W298BC Montgomery, ESPN The Ticket.
Salads can be more than, salads. Like the new seared ahi tuna or shrimp and avocado salads at Nuke's Eatery. Both deliver impeccably indulgent flavors like seared sushi-grade tuna or plump broiled shrimp, along with our house-made dressings, ginger wasabi or lemon basil vinaigrette. Try one of these extraordinary salads today, only at Nuke's Eatery.
Located in Montgomery at Taylor and Vaughn, Tigertown, Opelika, and in the heart of Auburn.
Sexton Tire Pros is home with a hassle-free guarantee. They make taking care of your tires simple by offering a straightforward approach to tire and auto service that includes nationwide warranties, a hassle-free experience, and major brands like Michelin and BF Goodrich. For whatever you drive, Michelin is a tire to fit any need. Sexton Tire Pros, hassle-free, guaranteed. Find out more online at sextontirepros.com.
I hit a bump in the road, I got a nail in my tire. The muffler is loose, the steering no power. At Sexton Tire Pros, we're one of the few where everything we do rotates around you. Sexton.
Fueled by the vision of 3 generations of leaders with backgrounds in engineering, construction, and finance, Halstead has left an indelible mark of quality on the retail and multifamily landscape throughout the Southeast for more than 70 years. Halstead has built a diversified real estate portfolio across 14 states, featuring some of the best-known name brands in America. Call Halstead Contractors at 334-288-2330. Halstead is a proud supporter of Pike Road Patriot football.
Come discover a more familiar way of life in Pike Road's newest development, Hidden Oaks. Build your dream home in nature without all the traffic. Located just minutes from the Pike Road Town Center, Publix, restaurants, and additional shopping, you won't have to go far for anything you might need. Hidden Oaks features incredible access to I-85 and Vaughn Road while still retaining its profound beauty and privacy. Auburn, Lake Martin, and downtown Montgomery are just a short drive away. With site pros getting the lots ready to build on, claim your spot now. To find out more about Hidden Oaks, go to hiddenoaksal.com.
The Pike Road Patriot Fund's goal is to raise money to support arts and athletic programs at Pike Road School. Over $100,000 has been raised over the years, and the monies have contributed to almost every sport and student organization. Thanks to the people attending and sponsoring the annual Crawfish Boil, which makes it easier to provide much-needed support to teachers and coaches. Visit www.prpatriotfund.com for more information.
It's year 7 of the Pig Enterprises Scoreboard Show. This is Doug Amos inviting you to join me and special guests each Friday night from 9 to 11 right here on WTXK, ESPN The Ticket in the River Region. You can listen online as well on roundtablebroadcast.com. We'll have a great time on remote at different high school games and in the studio. It's going to be a great, great year. Follow all your high school football scores right here on ESPN The Ticket.
Your NASCAR station in the River Region is WTXK, Pike Road, Montgomery, ESPN The Ticket. You're listening to Patriot Talk with Pike Road head football coach Granger Shook. To be part of the show, call 334-517-1210 or text the Patriot Talk text box at 334-313-1170. Now back to Coach Shook and Doug Amos.
All right, as we head for home, we continue our discussion with Coach Shook. Talk more specifically about Bearwood's team at Wetumpka. What kind of game plan or what kind of game do you see playing out here?
Well, I see it being a back-and-forth battle. I think it's going to be a battle that is won at the line of scrimmage, challenge both lines of scrimmage each week, offense and defensive line. And I think we've gotten better each week. We just got to continue to progress. I think, Wetumpka presents a lot of issues as far as their quarterback play. He's one of the, most dynamic quarterbacks in the state of Alabama as far as being able to run and throw.
You can tell Caleb's quite familiar with him.
He is.
I mean, he called him out by name.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Knowing what kind of player he is.
Yeah, and I know, we got up on them last year. They did not lay down. They came back, made it a 4-quarter battle. We had to win it really in the last seconds of the game, but that's who Wetumpka is. They don't care what the score is. They're going to play hard for 4 quarters no matter what. And, I'm going to make sure I reiterate that to our boys tomorrow during our walkthroughs, during our film sessions. But, special teams is going to be a huge key. I think, not only up front on both sides, but I think our perimeter with Caleb and Trey, I think they have an opportunity to have a great night.
So I want to ask you this. You and Bear both played college football.
Right.
You and Bear both played defense.
Right.
In college football. Is there a connection there? You guys kind of get it since you both played on the side of the ball that requires aggressive play, that requires that mentality, that physicality mentality that you've been trying to, get into your team and get them to embrace. There's got to be some kind of connection there with you two guys.
Yeah, well, I don't want to speak for Bear, but just watching Bear and following his career and now watching him coach at Wetumpka, I think Bear and I are very similar. I think
do too.
We've been undersized our whole career. I think we play with a chip. I think we played with a chip on our shoulder. I think we may coach with a chip on our shoulder. I think we may try to bring out the best in our young men as far as physicality and accountability and just making sure we hold our kids accountable on the field. And we understand that football is a violent, physical game. And I think our boys at Pike Road are responding to that. I know that he's going to bring the best out in his team tomorrow night. I know that Wetumpka is going to be ready to play. He's a great coach. They exceeded expectations last year, and I know that he is going to ride that momentum into tomorrow night.
Let me ask you this, and you correct me if I'm wrong. You've coached at a lot of different levels.
Right.
I think at some of the smaller classifications that you can win some games without being the most physical team sometimes. I think when you get to 5A, 6A, 7A in the state of Alabama, you ain't winning unless you're winning up front.
I agree 100%. And I think there's a lot of merit to what you said, Doug. And so just trying to get our young men to buy into that. And I think they are. I think we've gotten physical or more physical each and every week. And, hoping that our boys can continue to build on that going into tomorrow night.
Help me out with this. I always like to peel the curtain back and take a glance where I'm not welcome. and find out. Talk about the
You're
schedule.
welcome.
Talk about tomorrow, what tomorrow will be like, because it's a road game, but it's not a trip game. You know, it'll take you 30 minutes, 40 minutes to get from the school probably to Wetumpka.
Right.
So it's not far down the road. But tell me the time frame and what all will happen with your team come early tomorrow morning.
Well, you know, our guys are going to get in right at the first bell. You know, we'll have a team meeting right after the first bell and right after we eat breakfast. So we'll meet right at 8:30. We'll then break up and we'll go to offense and defensive meetings where you know, our players will watch film. We'll get some last-minute coaching cues. Then we'll go into special teams meetings, and then they'll go into their normal class day, in which they'll be expected to learn. Even though it's game day, they know that, you know, we expect them to, you know, to treat it like a normal day. And so after school lets out, we'll have our pregame meal. We will dress and tape.
How does that
Pike
happen?
Road.
Tell me about pregame meal and how that's funded.
Well, our quarterback club does a great job. Our quarterback club is bringing in a meal for us. We'll eat it in the cafeteria. But, you know, Zach Gibbs and Maddie Downing and, you know, Michael Hennig and Miss Lang and Brooks Boyd, all those people that have worked tirelessly to raise money for our young men, they are providing a pregame meal for us. And so we'll eat that at Pike Road. We'll go into our locker room. We'll dress and tape at Pike Road, and then we'll load our buses, and then we will commute to Wetumpka and get back onto our normal pregame routine.
Talk about getting into the quarterback club again. We talked about this last week with Michael Hennig. Give us a promo and a push on that. Once again, if somebody wants to be a part in helping these young men and helping your staff, help them get through a football season with all the pregame meals and everything else that goes in to running a top-level football program.
Yes, and so, you know, our Pike Road football page, it's on social media that Dogwood, you know, puts out and does a great job. You know, our quarterback club, PikeRoadQuarterbackClub.com.
PikeRoadQBClub.com. Yeah.
PikeRoadQBClub.com does a great job. I think their website is top notch that Brian, you know, got for us. And
I have a feeling Brian went into a lot of the design of this. That's why he's handing me every page that we need to know about.
There's no question.
There is a Join the QB Club link to that. Once you go to PikeRoadQBClub.com, you can also find out sponsorship availabilities.
Absolutely.
You're not going to turn away any of those.
Nope.
You can get the schedule. You can get the latest news. You can also have a link to Pike Road Live, which allows you to watch the games and to watch Patriot Talk every week.
Absolutely. So any and all, you know, investments into Pike Road football our players need and we want as a community. And so, again, it takes a whole village to run a championship program, and that is our goal. And so, again, any and all investments into our Pike Road Quarterback Club will be greatly appreciated.
No doubt about that. Well, Coach, as we wind toward the end here, what's the key tomorrow night for your team?
I think two things that we have not done a good job of the last 2 weeks. We have not won the field position battle. The opposing offenses have gotten a short field all night and put our defense in a bind. So we got to win the field position battle. And I think we have to win special teams tomorrow night. We've really put emphasis on that. And so I'm excited to see our boys respond. I'm excited to see our boys be able to get in front of a hostile crowd. I know Caleb is right. Their student section is going to be loud. I want our student section to match, if not, you know, better their student section. And so I think those two battles are going to be great. Going to be a great opportunity for us.
It's the Patriots and the Indians tomorrow night. 7 o'clock is the kickoff from Wetumpka. We hope to see you there. Let's get a big Pike Road win tomorrow night. We'll see you again next week,
Doug.
Coach.
Appreciate you, man.
All right, that's going to do it for Patriot Talk this week. Don't forget, if you want to go back and listen to any of it, it's available wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be back here next week at the market at John Hall Store. Have a great and happy weekend, everybody, and go Patriots.
This